Hey, how's it going? My name is James P. White. That is Chris Mooney. This is the Bald and Short of It podcast, circling the toilet bowl of loathing and hatred. And yes, we hate each other. Um, some
Episode
days more than
episode
others.
37.
I've made him cry, and we haven't even started the podcast yet because he's a bitch. But that's just how it is. If life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And I got that. Um, yes, this is the Bald and Short of It podcast. I am James P. White. That is Chris Mooney. And again, circling the toilet bowl of loathing and hatred. And we've had a really interesting week. There's a lot of stuff going on. I got details for St. Patty's Day. That's happening. And he's still crying. And I might
I'm
be get
giggling.
over it. But you know what? All is good. Uh, how was your week there, big guy?
My week was great. I had a wonderful time. I got to see close friends more than once. Um, without
You
going
have
into too
friends?
uh, without going into too much detail. The week kicked off actually beautifully because I had so much more comedic material after you got your haircut. the Ronald McDonald.
You
And I'm like, you know what? The good people at McDonald's, they should have done like a Scooby Doo, Scrappy Doo revamp, and got like Ronald McDonald with the little companion, Jimmy
uh,
McDonald.
we talked about it throughout the week. You always make fun of the hair when I get a new style, get a new color. I've been a lesbian grandma. I've been, you know,
Flock of seagulls.
flock of seagulls. Now I'm Ronald McDonald, and you're Telly
Jimmy
Savalas, you're
Jimmy McDonald.
Nosferatu, you're many bold evil
Yul
characters.
Brenner. We need
You
7 good men.
and if we can't find seven,
So
just
it is
million.
written, so it shall be done.
Yes. So yeah, okay. Got my haircut. I do need to compliment Estelle Academy. I love that place. There, it's if you have not been there, it's students. It takes a bit longer, but you know what? They do a great job. They do it as you say, and they have teachers there to make sure they do it right. And I love the place.
They do nice work. Like this is your second visit in like a month and a half.
Two
So
2 months.
2 months.
It was January 10th, I think. I was when I got the upgrade on the lesbian grandma.
Yeah, the flock of seagulls, Marilyn Monroe. Uh,
Yeah, that one. Yes. So it was
the Gary Busey.
Gary Busey, and and then okay. Before we get too far, what are you drinking?
Oh, Dewar's. Dewar's Scotch. It's very well known brand.
Because
I
you're a
like it.
doer.
It's not very peaty, which is good because I don't like peat in my Scotch. Um, yeah, and I don't know much about the history. I know I've had it before and I like it, and they had a really good deal on this Magnum of it. It's Scottish. It's double aged for extra
Scottish.
smoothness.
It's
It's
Scottish.
a blend, but it's a lovely blend.
But you go on and how you talk, how you're Irish descent, and you're all Irish, and you make fun of me because I'm St. Patty's Day, and
Plastic patty.
yes, and you go, oh, it's a cultural appropriation, but you drink scotch. You don't even drink Irish whiskey. Like, what kind of Irishman are you? You're
So
you're you're Scottish. Like,
I can switch to Jameson's. Like I can pivot. I'm okay. If you're offended, Jimmy McDonald.
I'm just saying. And by the way, I'm sticking with the Michelob Ultra, and we're not doing the weigh-in thing anymore. I'm done.
Oh,
I
you're
like
you're just
it,
done.
it's. I'm just done. I've gone back to fast food. The only thing I'm sticking with, or like not
Oh,
fast
you're
food, just higher. The only thing I'm sticking with is the lighter beers. Also,
But yeah, like because I'm glad you brought that up because you shared some kind of like foodie selfie like like a social media influencer of you crushing a pizza at MKT before your haircut,
No, it was
and
right
I'm like,
after. No, it was
oh right,
after.
oh you're celebrating the Ronald McDonald.
I
Went
was
across
like,
the
I need
street,
to have lunch, and then
went
so I went
across the
there.
street and just said, ba da ba ba ba, I'm loving it.
I could have actually gone to McDonald's. It's across the street, the other direction. Um,
Yeah, no, you're high class now with that tight red.
oh, hey, the women love it. It's like you bald people don't, but but those who you know live in glass houses cast a lot of stones. Um,
Okay, so anyway, my what I was saying is that we have this sort of we had these resolutions. I hate to use it is in the past tense, but um, with the food and you're like, a little exercise, not the regular beers with the 200 calories, and like again with the fast food, and then you're crushing a whole pie yourself. So I'm like, you know, like if you share it, you gotta be accountable.
I
So you're so
but
you're
the
so
thing
you're
is,
pulling the pen. It's
I
like now there's accountability. You're like, fuck this.
no, because the thing is I pulled the pin because I've been doing this since frickin' January, and it's been up and down a pound, up and down a pound, up and down a pound, and I'm like, fuck it,
Yeah, but
and
at
I'm
least you're
done.
not gaining, and also, um,
But
like
I've
our
upgraded
last.
my equipment for working out, so I am still doing a bit of a
Well,
workout.
then you should.
I got a yoga mat, but I'm just not worrying about the food, and I'll stick with the beer and fuck the rest of it. Um,
I think that we should continue with the weigh-ins,
no,
and
I totally disagree unless you're
well,
weighing in too,
well,
because you're working out and I'm working because you say you're still working out. So then if I'll do weigh-ins if you do weigh-ins.
okay. So it's a Mexican standoff then. Speaking of cultural appropriation,
It's an
I'm not
immovable
doing it.
object. What is it? A movable object against. Oh, what's the
Yeah,
measure of
it's something
utility?
force. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Whatever.
It's a Mexican
It,
standoff. I like that one better anyway.
uh, my one of my wrestling names was Little Juan, so I guess I'm part Mexican. Um,
Oh, it's another
but
culture you're expropriating. So
uh, I do
you
everything.
don't just expropriate
I'm also a pirate.
you don't just
I've
expropriate from the Irish.
I
Like
I'm everybody.
now
Like
it's Somalis too. You said you're a pirate.
I'm a bit of everything. But yes, so got the haircut. You know, we we went to the casino. I lost money. Um,
Did you end up losing because you had a good start?
yeah, I told you I was down $60.
Yeah, like I brought a buck 20. I only ever bring what I plan to lose, and uh, near the end of the night, I think maybe just after you left, I was down to 40. I did have a win of about 40, but I brought it down to 40 total out of a buck 20, and then I won like 50. So I came away with like 90, which was a low impact night economically speaking. And like I plan to lose some money. So if I go home with 90 bucks in my pocket, it's found money because I've already waved it goodbye when I brought it in. But I thought you'd be buying drinks. You were up what, 2 honey, 3 honey?
I was technically when I left, I was up 100, or I was up 120, and then I put a lot of it back in.
Oh, okay. When
So I
you
was
left that
technically
one
down.
session when you were
And then when I said I was leaving, I found a different machine.
you were there till 4. We all left. You were
No,
hiding in a
I
corner.
was there. I was there about 30 minutes after I said I was leaving.
Actually, now that you mention it, that night we were celebrating friend of the podcast, Mike Bayrock's birthday, which was a heck of a lot of fun. Lots of friends. Kind of everybody sort of sets up at the center bar as a home base, and there's usually people keeping the table or tables. And we had a lot of good friends come by, and yeah, I know you left because you had to work Sunday, and
Yeah.
I was thinking about it on the way home because it's a good thing you left because we went to my sister's after. and we went out in the on the deck. She has that gazebo with the heating and the fire table and all that.
Oh, okay, yeah,
It was all in all a wonderful night from tip to clip, but it was good seeing you.
yeah. It was okay seeing you. Um,
Well, you know what?
I do like our group of friends better than you, but
They'd probably say the same, but yeah, actually, as evidenced by we got there for the Del Boca Vista early bird special, because at River Cree, I think 7 days a week from like I don't know 3 to 5 or 2 to 5 or noon to 5. I don't know what it is. Everything on their bar menu at Tap 25 is 50% off, and
and
um,
you guys all got food I don't normally eat.
yeah, but we crushed a clubhouse, a bowl of soup, a steak sandwich, and 3 glasses of wine, Andrew and me, for $54. That's not too shabby.
No,
Um, but food aside, and getting back to even my friends hate me topic. Like I was sitting next to Boobs, and you were sitting next to Andrea. The four of us are at a table, and all it was just like you guys.
everybody's shitting on you.
Everybody was just coming after me, and you know what? It's in good fun. I think. I know that I'm probably the worst amongst us for that. So I gotta suck it up when it happens to me. But it was definitely a pylon. And I was joking with Ruben. So Mooney, you're sitting at a table. But yeah, you must have had a nice dinner. You're at the casino. With a couple of your best friends and your best girl. Did you have a good time? No. Oh, are you kidding? Didn't you guys have?
Everybody picked on me. You almost cried. It
Didn't
was
you
so satisfying.
really like? Didn't you enjoy their company? Not really.
No,
What'd you talk
you
about?
can,
They they were they
they
were.
talked about me. That's all they did was they just talked about me.
It
Like
was fun.
even your wife turned on you.
Well, there was some turnabout. It was fair play, so that's all right.
Yeah, it was a good time. What else did you have going on this week?
Yeah, that was yeah Thursday. We had a buddy, Brendan, Asphitter. He was in from out of town, and we hung out. Um, yeah, and that was great. Just like again, seeing some old friends, and it's great. It's great when a bunch of the brothers get together, and it's kind of like impromptu. Like even one of the guys is going, "We should do this once a month," because like the last time we did it was just before Christmas, and so like if 30 guys know, and or you just put it out on our Facebook page or whatever, like not everyone's going to show up all the time, but you're always going to have some turnout, you know, if you do it first whatever day of the month or whatever, right? But
Yeah,
it's always great, and there's never a shortage of things to talk about. So,
yeah. Speaking of, like, we were at River
oh,
Cree, and I just saw this article, and we were kind of talking about it. We were at River Cree for Bayrak's birthday, and I just saw this article. The Hell's Kitchen, there, it's
yeah,
going to be the first one in Canada that's going to be at River Cree, and they say here it's going to be opening in um, September. No, sorry, summer, sort of like September, but different.
wow, that's
But
a long
summer at
time
River
because
Cree.
that space is already boarded up. Like we were walking by, right? Like that's that old Italia place, and I think it used
Yeah,
to be
but
Sage.
they're working on it. They're like, I
Yeah,
would definitely go, but we were talking about it at the casino, and we're like, yeah, we'd have to wait a couple of months. Like, you're not gonna, you have to have a reservation probably 3 weeks in advance to get in there.
that's a big coup for those guys. I mean, that's like you go to Vegas and that's a big deal, like people go for that and it's anything to bring people in, right? But they're doing all sorts of things. Like they're doing a top golf type thing there with and it's funny because like a bunch of the brothers were out and like there's a guy in our fraternity, a Deke, who's the project manager. Another guy's company's doing the construction. Another guy's company's doing the steel procurement. I mean, I'm like, I was joking around. I'm like, Yeah, I go to the casino and I lose the money, and the good news is that they take my money and they give it to you guys to build expansions. There was like, oh, another brother was doing the paving, like literally four deeks involved in this big project. So yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, it's there's big changes there. Like, if you like going, it's all for the better. Um,
Because like one thing that I really want to try there, because I've watched Hell's Kitchen, I've watched like all his shows and stuff like that, the different ones that he does. I really want to try the beef Wellington. I've never had it, but the way that he does it looks so good.
Graf and I went to his restaurant in Vegas. Like, it might have been Caesar. I know. I think he's got a burger one there. I don't know. I'm almost positive we went to a Ramsey's and she crushed the Wellington and like had nothing but good things to say. So that's about the only thing in like the British, like, the British aren't known for their cuisine. It's like fish and chips or whatever. But Wellington is one thing that like that they're known for. So
Yeah, and he's known specifically for his because it's just like other chefs have said, yeah, no one does it better.
it's interesting though because they just get local guys to go in and do it. I'm sure they've got a chef who's going to run the kitchen or whatever. But I reckon if a fella got his hands on the recipe, you could do it at home.
But I
Not for
wonder
nothing.
because they're calling it Hell's Kitchen. I wonder if it's gonna be like the Hell's Kitchen, like where they have upcoming chefs in there competing. If it's gonna be something like that, or
Is
like
that
how
show
they're doing.
still
'Cause they're
on?
not. I like I've seen. I don't know. I don't have normal cable. But like the thing is though, is that would be cool if they were actually doing competition where people were going there and competing, and he would actually be there, like not just being a, you know,
Yeah,
Gordon Ramsay restaurant. Him actually being there from time to time would be really cool.
that show was massive for his profile. Nobody knew who he
Oh
was
yeah,
until they, and then like it obviously be in his interest for that show to be there. I'm definitely going to check it out.
yeah.
Not the restaurant necessarily, but I'll check it out right now on AI. Um,
Like he like that would be worth checking out, and the fact that it's the only first one in Canada is a big deal.
Hang on a sec. Is Hell's Kitchen as a program still on some platform?
Bet you it's still on the Food Network. Bet you money because
Checking if any show's still running. Yeah, if you're talking about the program, cons, cults, and kidnapping,
the God's cults and kidnapping. What does that have to do with Hell's Kitchen?
No, I'm
Cons,
talking
cults.
about the TV show Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay.
Checking if Hell's Kitchen is still running.
The last
Yeah, Hell's
episode
Kitchen
was
with Gordon
released.
Ramsay is definitely still going strong. It's one of those shows that just won't quit. Season 24 wrapped up back in January, with Ellie Parker taking the win after that wild Battle of the States theme. Right now in March 2026, no new episodes are airing, but Fox renewed it ages ago, so expect season 25 to kick off later this year, probably fall again. You can catch older seasons on Hulu or wherever they stream. And Gordon's still yelling at people like it's 2005. Here's a taste of the chaos. That face.
Holy shit! So what? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't watch reality TV. Never really have. Um, I did watch
He,
Big Brother when it first came out and kind of got sucked into that vortex for a bit, but and Survivor, who didn't when it first came out? Like, those are the
oh
first
yeah,
ones. But then I'm like, oh my god, I'm not watching this. Like, it's either
aren't they
crazy
on
people.
like Survivor 600 or something like
Yeah,
they're
it's either like scripted or crazy people, and I'm not interested in either.
and it's even worse if it's scripted crazy people. Um,
Yeah, which is probably what it actually is. I don't know. Like,
what's that one? Uh, with the my mom's not talking to me anymore because I'm married to a midget. What's that one?
that was my parents and me on Sunday.
But what was the Jerry Springer?
Oh yeah, well
That
yeah. I
that
mean,
was a
they're like
fake reality
that
show.
was actually probably a reality TV precursor.
But before that was like Donahue, and then
Oh yeah, and they're
then,
like, holy shit, these crazy people are fucking nuts, and we barely want them in our studio. But my God, the ratings, people love a circus, right?
yeah,
Like, and again, I think that's why and it wasn't even really a conscious decision. It was just more like, okay, I'm not, I'd waste too much time waiting for episode whatever. Who gets kicked off the island? Who gets kicked out of the house? Like, I feel dirty after because I'm like, these are like, if, like either because they're normal people and they're nuts, and why am I cheering for nut people who are nuts, or, um, holy shit, like, don't I have something better to do with my time than watch nuts people acting out? Right? It's kind of like
yeah,
social media influencers. I hate that whole concept. You know?
yeah. You know what? Speaking of that, let's switch lanes here. And so you and I have been talking for the last couple weeks
Yep.
about whether or not you can get rid of your smartphone
Yep.
and stuff like that. And we kind of decided getting rid of email and stuff like that on a smartphone is not an option, like text messaging and stuff like that. But you have written here, do you call anyone anymore? Are you comfortable with calling
Yeah.
someone without, like, out of the blue?
Well, because it's like what we were talking about was like, are you married to your phone? Like how? Like, I mean, honestly, I feel like, particularly with young people, it's like an epidemic where you lose your touches, like you like, like, your humanity. I suppose might be a better way to put it. I mean, a person on the screen is not a person.
No.
And that's like, I'm reading a book right now, actually, by Michael Conley. Of course, it's on my fucking phone. Um, ironically, I can't remember what it's called, but I'm on chapter, I don't know what ought, The Proving Ground, and it's like the latest Mickey Haller thriller by Michael Connelly, and it's called The Proving Ground. And anyway, the subject matter of the book is, um, and there's no spoilers, don't worry, but the kid, like, the topic is he's representing the family of, um a young woman, like a, I don't know, 16 odd or whatever, like not an adult yet, that was murdered by her boyfriend. But the boyfriend was, like, locked into this AI chat bot. Like, I don't even know how people, like, when I go on AI, I just go on to Grok and I ask the questions like I just did, and it's like, I got my information, I'm out. But we're talking about, like, this person, you build an avatar and they look real and they talk to you, and in your young impressionable mind, that's like a person. And in the premise of the book is that, this young man killed his girlfriend, but he was addicted to this AI chatbot called Claire, and and that was what influenced this otherwise good young man into, you know doing whatever. And the idea being, of course, that, like, like, the AI is like coming, and the whole, like, the social media, you lose your humanity, and you. I saw that. Anyway, so I was thinking about that in terms of our phones, and when we were talking, like, last, stop it already, okay? Like, um, oh, you're on the Clamatos now.
Just my last one.
What is that? Spicy? It's not the blue can.
No, it's pickled bean.
Mm. By the way, I'm going to interrupt myself and tell you a quick funny one. Andrea,
Wake me up when you're done.
Andrew. So Saturday we were out, and I said we went to my sister's, and we probably left at like one a.m. And I went to bed at like we probably left at 1:30 now that I think about it. But you know how daylight savings
Oh,
is?
yeah.
So yeah, we basically like left at 2:30, and they had a pickleball game at 11 a.m. And my sister was like, she showed up and her husband showed up, and they were the ones that hosted us till 1:30/2:30 a.m. And they went out there like champions and fucking played. And actually, I don't think Chris showed up, but Andre did. And I'm like, God love her, you know, like you just show, it's like our parents taught us, you show up. And they were playing, and she's like, oh my God, I'm hungover. But she's like, all I need is like a Caesar, like just some salt, and you know, like just a little pick me up, a little hair of the dog. And then they were playing. My sister was playing with my brother-in-law Diener, friend of the podcast, and whatever. And anyway, it turned. Andrea was playing against my sister, who said I needed a Caesar, and they made a friendly wager. Whoever wins this game, the loser's got to go to Chateau Louis and bring back a 6-pack of Caesars. Like this is in the middle of their pickleball. So Andrea's team lost. She went to Chateau Louis, grabbed a 6-pack. It's probably gone like 5 minutes because it's at the Lions Club there on 111th. And she's got these cold Caesars. Like they all sit down. It's kind of like brown bagging it. No one really cares over there. They're not governing you, so they're like crushing these. Like, oh, that's perfect. And Andrew's like, you know what? We played better after.
So is that Andrea or Andrea? Is it your
Both.
sister?
Andrea's my
Both?
sister. Andrea's
Yes,
Andrea.
I
Yeah.
know, but it's just you were jumping back and forth between
Mhm.
Andrea and Andrea using the
Sorry.
same name.
You have to go back to the archives and figure out. But yeah, my younger sister needed the Caesar. They made a friend. She and Andrea made a friendly wager. Andrea lost, ran to Chateau Louis, came back, and they crushed some Caesars and went back at the pickleball, which I thought was awesome.
So making a long story a little bit shorter. So we were kind of talking about whether or not you could live without your cell phone. We're going to go back to that because either that or else this podcast is going to be 6 hours long.
Yeah, like totally off the rails. I know. But I thought it was.
But
I don't even know
so
why we brought up the Caesars, but whatever.
because I had a Caesar, and then all of a sudden you just flipped to train tracks and went to flying.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see if I
No,
can.
let's make this so the podcast actually ends today. Okay, so basically we were talking about whether or not you could live without our cell phones, and we kind of decided between the internet, looking stuff up, like when we're talking about things, doing prep, whatever it is, that we're gonna
Hang
get
on.
rid of. So nope, just have a Coke and a smile.
All right.
Okay, so we are going to get rid of social media. But one thing that I wanted to talk about, because you have it written here, is do you talk to people anymore? Is it just text messages? Is it just
Yeah.
Facebook messages? Like when it comes to like my mom or some of my older like family, like especially my mom, you don't text first. You phone her. If you text her, she's not going to respond to you. But
Yeah.
I always text my sisters, "Hey, are you up to talking? Hey, I'm going to be at the Canadian Brew House for St. Patty's Day. Are you coming?" Stuff like that. With the older people, it's like my mom still has a landline, and she'll have a landline till 6 years after she passes away. It's still going to be the same number. And like, do you have a landline?
No. I don't know anybody that does.
So
except my parents. Right?
yeah,
Proving your
like parents, like if I didn't use my cell phone, I wouldn't be talking to anybody about anything. Like, so I don't have a home phone. Hell, I don't even have cable. I stream everything.
Well, yeah, you know what? It might be that like my kids, when I'm like our parents' age, will be like, and they're using like some sort of AI interface with glasses or some shit, and they're like, yeah,
or it's a chip in their arm, or
yeah, and they're like, my dad's still using his cell phone.
Yeah.
Like, It's crazy. But
YouTube, is that a thing? No, it's just everything's AI.
and
Like,
by the way, Jimmy, I gotta compliment you on expertly bringing that on track and still maintaining like my little research piece that I did. So when we were talking about our phone challenge, it got me thinking about texting and calling. And like my business is real estate. So it's like to me, everything is time is of the essence. And I don't mean like sales, but taking care of my clients. My client asked me a question, I got to ask the other party. As soon as I get that text or get off the phone, I want to call the other agent. But even now, there's a lot of young agents that, like on the listing, it goes just text, no calls. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, let's just get after it.
I don't answer numbers if I don't know it. Like I'm
And
that
and
guy.
and I hate to tell you this, but I'm kind of the same way. Um, and it's not like there's a net like I'm like they'll leave a message, but some people don't even leave a message. So, anyways, what I was asking is, I actually prefer to talk on the phone. Like even if you and I are texting and there's like you ask me a question and I'm like, I'm not going to type out like 200 character or whatever, like, like a long message. I'll just call and go, hey, by the way, you're already texting me, so we're good to go. But if I'm calling like a colleague about a listing or about an inspection or like a question about a property I viewed, it doesn't matter. It's like even when I call them, I've been conditioned to go like, do you have a minute? Because like there's this worry that I'm intruding on them, and I'm wondering if it comes from me, like feeling like I'm being intruded upon, but I don't think so. It's like I want to talk. If it's important, I'll take
But
it.
but but sometimes you can deal with a text really quick. But if you're out to lunch with someone or something like that, it's the same thing. You're like, are you up to talking? It's either yes or no. Like
And it,
it's
and in some like in some ways I like the texts because we we like today we had a great one before the show and you go 2 o'clock and then I replied, will you be there? If so, hard pass. And then you
and then
replied,
my response is no. I'm working on a different midget for you.
yeah.
Um,
And then I said, call a guy from somewhere else. It doesn't matter. A midget that we know. And I said, we both hate you. Might be a good fit. And, back and forth. That's fun. These are just one liners, right? It's not
yeah,
like we're talking about solving the world's problems or anything. But um, yeah, you're right about the parents. I mean, I wanted to talk to my mom today. I called her. And guess what? 2 rings. My mom's there. You know, on the bright side, it was her cell phone. But you know, and yeah, like, but my point is like I don't want to call it anxiety, but like even my close friends, if I call them, like like with you, it's kind of like we know we'll text or call. It's pretty much a hybrid. But if it's like if I have a buddy that I want to talk to about something, and like for example, like I got my badge for the referendum, and like to be a canvasser to get signatures for the petition, and I have a buddy
the,
that
the okay to not to clarify, you don't have your badge for the referendum. You have for the petition, which will lead to the
yeah,
referendum. You don't
I'm
have.
glad you clarified that. Yeah, that's awesome, thank you. Actually, why I talked to my mom, but um
And she
initially,
said, "Hell no,
oh
get
actually
away from me,
I'm
get away
she
from me, you pos." Uh,
she was getting an injection for her ankle, and I said, well, when are you and dad available, because I have 3 spots left on my 20 sheets, and um and I saved one for someone we know, one for her and one for my dad before I turned them in for a new set. And I don't, I'm digressing. I'm sorry, but
that's
my
you.
my friend, I wanted to talk to him about that because I knew that he was in the process of getting his badge too. And I'm like, I'm not going to text him going, "Hey, you getting the badge?" and blah blah blah. Like I'm like, I just want to talk to him, and he's like my age. But even then, when I called him, He's a contemporary of ours, but we don't talk every day. We might talk, we might text at least once every couple weeks. Um, it's Mo, by the way, uh, and then I called him and he answered, and I'm like, "Hey, brother, do you have a minute?" Every time I call somebody and it's not expected, now I say, "Do you have a minute?" Because I'm
I'm kind
worried.
of the same way. If it's a yes or no answer, it's a text. If it's, hey, I have an idea. Do you have a minute? No, I'm
Mhm.
in a meeting. Can I call you later? And then you text me when you're, hey, are you ready? Like it's
Yeah, and like
so
my kids, like if it's important, I'll call them and they usually answer because they know it's me. But even with
I
texts, like,
wouldn't.
well, yeah, you usually don't. But I did a little research just as a premise for why we're doing this, like kind of social media phone call ban, like to try it out. Um,
We
because
started this conversation 15 minutes ago. We haven't even
whatever,
got into the
it's
conversation yet.
what you're criticizing. Okay, listen. So I'm trying
Sorry.
to figure out the why, right? Like, why are we doing this? Why are we? And we talked about it last week. I don't want to. I spend too much time on like FOMO on X, and I'm not talking about. I know I want to catch the next post by my favorite influencer. I can't even say that with a straight face. I'm talking about news. Like I want to be on top of the news. And the one fear that I have of our little ban is that like
You're going to miss out on things.
I won't know what's going on in the world because like that's how I get my news. Like solely from X. But do I need to be checking by the minute? Like people come out to me, Andrew is like, "Did you hear about this that happened?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard about it yesterday." Because I'm like too much into it. That's why I want to do it. Anyway, getting back or doing a transition from people on the phone and like whether or not you send texts or take the email, I was wondering specifically about that question. Do people like are you and I and most of our generation right in being trepidatious about like calling people out of the blue? It's kind of like 10 years ago, knocking on someone's door going, "Hey, you got time for a beer?" Which is like unheard of now. You're going to
We're
text them
just
and go,
showing up.
"Yeah,
Like,
right."
like I
That's
remember,
it's
like,
this is
like,
like this
like
is like the
you think about it when we were growing up. Your
people would
your
come
your
by and my
parents did not phone your auntie and go, "Hey, um, are you up to having visitors?" You showed up at the door,
yeah, and you
and
get excited when the doorbell rings. It's either your buddy or like your cousins and your aunts and uncles or whatever, right? And you're like, "Oh yeah, awesome." Now the doorbell rings and like there was a skit like 10 years ago of people hiding.
I feel like that was Saturday Night
Yeah, I
Live with
think it
something,
was. It's like, but that was 10 years ago, and we're talking about
or it
people
was either
knocking on.
Saturday Night Live or SCTV, where someone's,
No, it's
"Oh,
yeah,
don't turn on the lights! Don't turn on the lights! You'll
I'm
know we're
I'm
here."
pretty sure it was SNL, but that
Yeah,
was like people knocking on the door and going, "Hey, how you doing?" And people going, "Come on in," and you've always got the bottles waiting and the candies and whatever, sit down, and that was like at least 10 years ago, and
oh,
now,
probably even more than that, dude.
yeah,
Probably closer to 20.
and I think the phone call is like 2020's version of that, where it's like, oh, I don't know, I'm not going to answer if I don't know who it is, right? You just said it. You fucking said it, right? Isn't that a
But the
totally
thing is, but it's different now than then because it could be a telemarketer, it could be someone doing a survey, it could be just some random person calling you for like selling you something or trying to upgrade your bank account or
or it could be
you
you're
know
on social media and you couldn't be bothered, which is a good reason for us to whatever. But I'm going to stick on that topic briefly so I could just tell you the results of my AI generated question about are people more adverse to telephone calls um, versus texting, right? And there's a 2024 study highlighted that 36% of young adults, and that's like Gen Z and millennials, which we are, by the way, report anxiety around phone calls, leading them to default in texting and messaging apps. I'm like, I don't know about anxiety, but if that was my kids, I'm like, I'd Fredo them and go, anxiety, answer your phone. Be a man, Fredo. Um, a 2025 survey found only 16% of Gen Z views phone calls as an appropriate communication method. Only
Hey,
16% of
Kate
Gen
Mooney,
Z. Yeah,
we're not Gen Z. We're
I know,
Gen
I
X.
know. We're off the hook on that front.
Yeah,
But as an
we're Gen
appropriate,
X. We're both 65 to 80. We're both
yeah.
like,
So it goes favoring text or digital tools instead. So that was I only highlighted. Don't worry, I've only got
yeah.
like a little bit. And then here's the best part. So like university and academic studies a 2023 study from the University of Texas at Austin, published in Greater Good Magazine 2025, analyzed communication bonds, finding that while people often choose texting to avoid perceived awkwardness, voice calls foster stronger emotional connections. Yet texting rates continue to rise due to habit. So that's like I said, I got the bullet points, but um, and it's kind of ironic when we go like with our phone calls. Who do you feel most comfortable with? Like the woman that raised you, the woman that bore you, you know, like that, and you'll call her anytime and she'll answer, and vice versa. Like if I'm running a marathon and my mom calls, she doesn't know I'm running a marathon because she'd never called. She knew I would answer that call, like with my watch or whatever the fuck people do.
Yeah.
My eyeglasses. But I think society is circling the toilet bowl with regards to like social interaction, and AI is not going to help that based on what I
No.
said about that book.
Because if I phone my mom and she's not answering, then she's at
Is
work.
she okay? We're okay. Yeah,
If she doesn't answer, she's at work or she's on the phone with somebody else.
yeah.
It's one of two things. And then if it prolongs and she doesn't answer, I text my sister and go, "Is all
Have,
good with mom?"
have you heard from mom or whatever? Yeah,
Oh, I've been on the phone with her for the last hour. I'm like, okay. Um,
yeah. Problem solved, right? But that's default.
like if I phone my sister, I always text her first. Hey, are you up to talking? Or she gets migraines and stuff and she can't talk, or
Yeah.
her kids, one of her kids are home because they don't live there, and she'd much rather talk to her daughter than me, and it's kind of hurtful. But
It's not that. It's that if she sees her daughter less, she knows she can call you when she leaves or whatever.
she can call me when she's when she's bored. I don't care. She doesn't care about me anymore. Yeah, but no,
Well, you can
but
add
yeah,
me to the list.
yeah. I never did like you, so I just hang out with you because I find new friends that way. Um,
Gonna put that on the thing.
okay, so now that we went through all the what do you use your phone for and all your beautiful research, which good job on that, by the way. So we have kind of decided that for the next week, actually, can we skip and not do it this week?
Yeah,
Do it next. Not like after St. Patty's Day because I pound the shit out of social media on St. Patty, like
and
leading
you
up to
should. I
St.
mean,
Pat.
that's kind of like your business, so I
So
respect that.
let's do that for the first week in April. Let's
Okay,
move it to April,
so
or at least after St. Pat's.
for any of our listeners that are engaged in our social media, like particularly Facebook, I guess, or like comments on YouTube
Facebook,
that I
Facebook,
never look. I don't like.
X,
I'm
Instagram,
yeah. Like I'm
TikTok.
yeah. Like maybe set that up, but
I'll have
uh,
my own.
okay, yeah. I'm not on Insta. I'm not on. I'm only on X and like Facebook and Facebook. Like I already talked about this, but
Yeah.
so we have a set of rules, and we would appreciate, based on what we're talking about, since we're gonna implement this next week, which is kind of a relief for me because you
Like
always
not next week. It's because St. Patty's Day is a week from tomorrow,
Mhm.
and St.
Oh,
Patty's
so it's
Day
like more
is
like a
so
2 week.
I'm saying let's do it for the first weekend of April, or at
Okay,
least after St. Patty's Day. and we'll do it
Yeah.
the next week
Okay. No.
because
Yeah.
because I pushed the hell out of, like, I'm going to Kelly's tonight to uh, promote the shit out of me
Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
St. Patty's Day.
I think that's a great idea, and I don't fault you for that. And like that was one of the things. Okay, like one of the things was like, except for podcast slash business, right? So like if
Yeah.
we actually did like a phone ban, meaning like you put your phone in your pocket, like my business would come to a halt because that's how I communicate with my colleagues. It is what it is, right?
And
Um,
I Google stuff while I'm out, like especially when I'm prepping for our podcast, because you and I, we depend on Google and some social, like, we're not going to
yeah,
use social media for our podcast prep, but we can still use Google. So
yeah, and
here
like
are
the hang on, like the phone, like like you can't just throw your phone in a lake anymore. Like it
no,
is like, and for me, it's like when I started in the business, like almost 30 years ago, like it was actually a pager. Like, so I had a pager for about my first 5 years in the business.
oh
Um,
really?
yeah, because like when I started, it was like, and like not for nothing, I was very, very young. It was right at university, undergrad. So, but um, how quickly it's evolved. But now it's texting, like, and not with the phone and the 9 buttons or whatever. Um, like I can't live without my phone. Like it just is what it is. But having said that, and we were talking about the book, you can't I can't read. I prefer reading with my phone, because it's less cumbersome than a book. Like if I go to Banff with Andrea and we're at the, Banff Springs and having a cocktail and we're both reading, I'd prefer to have my phone. It's in my pocket. I can read my book there, whatever. But here are the very simple rules that we've set out for our social media slash phone addiction ban. Do you want to call it that, Jimmy?
Yes.
So
Uh, yeah. So
why don't you
basically,
go through it? Yeah.
we're keeping off like most social sites. So no Facebook, X, or Instagram except posting business posts and not scrolling. So not going through reels, not going through
Yep.
videos, pictures, stuff like that. No YouTube scrolling. Again, reels, shorts,
I put that
stuff
in
like
for
that.
you because like
I like between
rabbit
reels
hole.
on Facebook and that, like, I can sit on that for hours
Yeah, and
and just
I
just
never do
random
that, but
videos.
I
But
think I'm the
but
exception.
YouTube, I use that to a lot of the time. That's my music.
Yeah.
I'll have YouTube going to have music in the background.
Well, no,
That
like
doesn't count.
you
That
know that
doesn't count.
there's a YouTube Music app.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could use the YouTube Music app for that. Just so you
And
know.
podcasting is
No,
okay.
no gay porn sites. So Jimmy, like,
No, we didn't. No, like, okay, we can get rid of
no
gay porn,
gay porn.
but it's just I do different porn, and we're not getting rid of porn on this one. Um, sorry, like then
If you're
because that's very very close to the I'm out sites. Like I did, like we did, like back when I worked at the radio station,
yeah,
and we tried to go a month, like, and we had a contest, and the loser was supposed to get I'm out tattooed
yeah,
on their arm of choice. But
that's like a la
they
Kramer on the Seinfeld no
yes,
jerking off episode.
yeah, and
So so when I say
I lasted a week.
so, I
Um,
like you give me shit for adding too many rules, but like there's only five bullet points,
so
and the
you're
gay
allowed
like
you're allowed podcast.
one of the bullet points is gay porn sites, and I put Jimmy in brackets with an exclamation, and you're like, no, that's non-negotiable.
I don't do
All
gay
right,
porn, but I do. But
not even for money.
did it once.
Yeah,
No, did I tell you that story? I didn't do it, but I was actually asked. I was at the Taboo Sex Show. It was, I want to say it was about 6 years ago, and they said, "Hey, have you ever thought of getting into porn?" It was a 2 week conversation I had with myself and coworkers whether or not I should, and I didn't, but it was a thought.
It's funny you mentioned that because I read a book. I can't remember. Like I do read a lot of books, and I bet the number of books I read, if we get off social media, will go up. But um, I can't remember if it
Reading
was.
books online is okay, like
Yeah,
when you
I
get
know,
your
I know,
thing.
I know. I can't. I don't know if it's fiction or nonfiction, but there was a cartel that had like one of their sicarios was like a midget, and he was like hung like a donkey, and part of their torture is like the midget would, you know, like take a fella and
It back
do
in
his
back in
thing.
the back in the day it was called hung like a donkey. Right now it's called hung like a midget. Um,
Yeah, like hung like hung like Jimmy McDonald. But the thing with this guy is that he had a hog, and it was like, wow, like you're torturing me by having a like. I think it's a true story if I recall correctly. But anyway, gay porn.
you're actually this podcast is probably one of the best examples of where you go squirrel and like all of a sudden we're talking about social media and we're talking about a gangster boning someone up the ass with their hog um,
No,
as torture.
well, a midget
But
slash
yeah,
gangster. But yeah, we a
a midget
little bit off
gangster.
script there.
Uh,
So what
so the
the next?
rules
No,
so
hang on. So I did gay porn sites. You do the next one.
so podcasting is okay and reading online is okay.
Yeah,
But then
I'm
you
okay.
have what about AI?
So let
That
me
kind of, but
go ahead.
AI/Google is kind of similar because it depends on what you're doing it for. If you're looking shit up because you're kind of curious, but if you start watching videos of these, like if you AIing it or Googling it, and it turns into you just sitting there for hours watching, like doing that shit, it's
Yeah, I'm telling you the reason why I put like for our listeners, like in our prep, all of like we have like 5 points that like no social media sites, no YouTube Doom, no gay porn
unless
sites,
you're posting, unless we're posting stuff for our
and
businesses
then
or
and then
pod.
yes, podcast, yes, reading, and then the other question. It was a question that I put it out there because I want to discuss it, like AI, and maybe it's because of this book I'm reading, but I only use AI for like succinct information. So
So it's basically you use AI like I do Google looking shit up,
right, but and
research.
and here's where maybe I acknowledge my yeah like my thing about the people on the phones and the Gen X and whatnot. But like I'm wondering if my FOMO with regards to like what's going on in the world today would migrate towards AI, where like I go to Grok and I go, hey, what's going on in the world today? What are the headlines? And then it does that. And then I'm like, back where I started. And you're like, oh, I don't even use X anymore. I just ask Grok. Like, do you know what I mean?
Okay, that's kind of a grayish area. It kind of depends on what you're doing. If you're going to sit on it for like 2 hours because you're looking at all, that's different. If you're doing like a quick in and out, like like a cheap hooker in and out, um, like not if you're going to sit on Grok for 6 hours going, like you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I think this is where, and I'm glad.
It's where you just sit and that's all you do for the next 2 hours is you're on Grok looking up all this different shit going on.
I knew that this would be contentious, and I also knew that I didn't know the answer. But like even talking it out with you, um, I realized that it's like like the honor system is going to be the most important thing. So at the end of the day, like no matter what our choices are with regards to like the AI or the well, maybe not the AI. I might discover a new girlfriend. Like I know I won't, but and the point being is it's the honor system. So I like this is like the platform that I'm going to use to maybe spend less time on X, if you know what I mean, and
But
maybe you
but the
spend
thing the
less
thing
time on the
with it,
reels or
but
whatever.
the thing is the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's AI, it doesn't matter if it's YouTube, it doesn't matter if it's Reels, it doesn't matter if it's X. It's shit that gets in the way of you like living life. If you're gonna sit on AI for fucking 2 hours, like just checking shit, that's kind of what we're trying to get out of, is less being online
Yeah,
than in with real people
yeah,
or you. Um,
yeah. Or me. I caught that, Jimmy McDonald. Um, no, like, but
it's
the
James McDonald. Okay, thank you.
well, I'll let Ronald and the good people at McDonald's know. Add a touch of class to Ronald's mini me.
Exactly. Yeah. So
No, but
but that's
like
the end of the game is the end of like the end of it all is whether or not these things are in between us and the rest of the world. If we're just going to sit
yeah,
on it for 2 hours, like it doesn't matter if it's a reel, if it's just like AIing. Okay, what's going on today? What about this? What about that? And you're there for 2 hours. That's kind of the moral of the story. Is
yeah.
we're trying to be like me. I spend a lot of time on reels because I'm tired of watching TV, and I just sit there and I go, okay, let's watch
But it's
another.
all
You know,
it's all algorithmic, and they're like, oh,
yeah,
Jimmy might like this, and then it doesn't matter what it is. I'll tell you this, and um, like I go to Vegas like fairly often, and and
every
you
three
know
months
like
it seems like.
yeah, well, not lately, but the point is always that like for some reason, usually when I'm even when I'm well, like Benny's, like I have friends in Vegas, I have friends here, and it's like whenever I go, um, I have my phone in
Are
my
they
pocket.
friends or are they just people that tolerate you?
Probably the latter, but we can save that for another chat. But like I'll leave my room and my phone's at like, like 100, and then I'll come back and like maybe 1 a.m. or whatever, and it's at like 80 or 70. But I probably lived a lot of life in that 20 or so 16, 18 hours, whatever it is. And it's like we should probably all try to apply that to life. So yeah, ironically though, I'm relieved that we're putting off this AI chat or this AI or sorry this um, social media ban. I'm relieved that we're putting off this social media ban for 2 weeks because obviously St. Patrick's
Of St.
Day.
Patty's Day. That's
Yeah,
my gravy, man.
yeah,
That's where
I know, and we
my
can't
life
take that
is.
away. Like, yeah, like you're going to be spending time on there promoting and sharing and whatnot, and that's fair. I respect that, and it goes to point number one: Facebook, X, Instagram, etc., except for podcast/business posts. And so no scrolling, no. But yeah, I'm going to read this out for our listeners and anybody who's engaged in our podcast, like on whatever platform.
So the six people.
Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. Thank you for listening, all of you. But I
My
like
cousin, my friends, and your wife.
if anybody has any suggestions beyond the no's and the yeses, so I'm gonna reiterate them, and we'd love feedback if anyone wants to go. How about this that we haven't thought of? So the no is social media sites, Facebook, X, Instagram, etc., except for podcasts/business posts.
And porn.
Hang on, we're getting there. No scrolling. That's social media sites, right? Goes without saying. And then no YouTube doom scrolling, watching videos. I think that's the same as Facebook. I don't do any of that, but you've told me that you
Like
get
I
down
I
to,
do reels on both ends, shorts on
yeah.
both ends,
Okay,
but
so I
but
want to keep
porn's
it
off
succinct
porn's
so our
off the list.
listeners can give their feedback.
Yeah.
No social media sites, no YouTube doom scrolling, no gay porn sites, Jimmy.
I don't do gay. I do different.
Okay, no porn sites. All right, I'll give you that one. And then yes, podcasts okay, reading okay because you're not engaging as much as you are consuming information. Well, that's a bad way to put it. Like if I'm listening to a podcast, it's like watching TV. Um, and then reading, of course, like reading from my phone or my tablet is the same as a book, so that's less counterproductive. And then AI, I don't think that Jimmy, like, just to put a
It
bow on
it it
this,
it kind of depends. If you're using AI to go, what's going on like right now in the world,
yeah,
and you spend like an hour on it,
yeah,
going through this, that's kind of the whole purpose of this thing is to stay off these.
yeah,
It's to engage in the world and not just sit there and like because if like you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
that's the thing is
I think
trying
that
to
I might.
see if we can disengage.
The AI piece again goes back to the honor system, and I think that maybe AI might be a benefit for this whole process. Where, like, maybe I get AI to give me because I don't want to miss out on any news about Iran
About
or like
or about your gay porn or whatever, you know.
no, like I have a subscription to Oilers Plus because I'm addicted to the Oilers. So when a game's
That's
over, I
but the
can
thing
watch
is,
that. I can watch that
sports
on my
have
TV.
different because they're news sites. Like
Yeah, I can
news
watch it
is
on like
okay.
I
News
only
is
really
okay.
ever use
Videos
it.
is just sitting there just watching
Yeah.
videos the whole time.
Like if the Oilers play like they're playing tonight, like if we had the band today, I wouldn't check my phone to see what Mark Spector had to say about it or Jim Matheson. I would go on Oilers Plus and watch the interviews with the coach and whoever they were interviewing on TV. But my point is though about the AI is that like maybe I only use AI for the things I said, but I I'll come back with feedback when we actually do the ban. But the AI thing is a question. So whoever's engaged, and again, I'll reiterate that for our regular listeners. You want to throw that out in the add more rules or take away some. No social media sites, Facebook, X, Instagram. No YouTube, doom scrolling. No porn sites, Jimmy. Podcasts are okay. Reading's okay. And the last one is agnostic. What about AI? And I think that maybe what I'll end up doing is before I go to bed is ask AI for like a presidential daily brief of the news of the day. And that might save me 2 hours on X finding out the next move in the Middle East or, Canada with it sounds like they're gonna try and tax our home equity now, ironically. But whatever, we'll leave that for another day. So if anybody has feedback, you want to throw it out there on any of our platforms, we'd love to hear it and maybe change our rules. You have 2 weeks. Go.
And you know what? What I'm going to do is I actually marked it in our prep. Is I'm actually going to cut this back end out where you broke down the rules and post this separately on top of this, and then people can comment on the new post
Sounds
of
good.
just this clip.
I think that's a great idea. And since people are commenting, we have other avenues I want to explore, and so do you. What about the logo? Do you want to talk about that now, or
Do we want to do logo or do you want to do
up to you?
sports?
You're the producer. I'm the talent.
Are you really like? I've had people that question your judgment when it comes to that, but it's just I don't want to what I call Mooney now because it used to be called squirrel, like where you go off on a tangent, but I
Yep.
call it a Mooney. Where just all of a sudden you're talking like kind of like what I'm doing right now. I'm pulling a Mooney, where you just are talking about one thing, and then all of a sudden, hey, let's talk about acorns. But
ADHD ish.
ADHD. You know what? I got a great idea. Let's go into sports right now, and you could just talk away. I need to go to the washroom, and I'm actually okay to miss sports. So let's do the Mooney Sports Center.
All right. The Edmonton Oilers, who have lost more games than they've won in the last 8 games. I think it's 2 out of 8 that they've won. Had a actually they're on since the trade deadline. The Edmonton Oilers made, like, since our last podcast, the Edmonton Oilers made some moves. They traded Jason Dickinson. Sorry, they traded Andrew Mangiapane for Connor Murphy, and they surrendered a first round pick, and they did a further trade with picks for Jason Dickinson and Colton Dock, who's a second round pick, who's 23 years old, who's a physical kid with a lot of upside. And they basically added three players and subtracted one. And they've played 2 games since. The first game they lost the Carolina Hurricanes, and they didn't look very good. The next game they played our divisional rivals, the Vegas Golden Knights, and we won. And the team is starting to look a little better, particularly because our last victory, we only surrendered 2 goals. We won 4-2 against the Knights. On Tuesday, no, was it Sunday. And we play tonight the Colorado Avalanche, who last time we met beat us 9-1. I am not optimistic for a victory, but by the same token, I'm hopeful that we can build on what we did on Sunday against Vegas. So we'll see. The Oilers are a work in progress, and right now is like literally a precipice where we're going to either go up or down. So we'll see. Other sports news: F1 started this weekend. George Russell won the Australian Grand Prix. Number 2 was Kimi Antonelli, his fellow driver in Mercedes. And number 3 was Isaac Hadjar, I believe. So we have like Mercedes dominating. I'm presuming that unless you watch like F1 Drive to Survive and you're listening to this podcast, you're not really interested. But I am, and I see Jimmy shaking heads, so I'll leave it alone. Kenneth Walker, who was the leading running back for the and the MVP of the Super Bowl, just signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. So, depending on whether or not you have faith in Zach Charbonnet, the Seahawks need a RB1. I'll talk to Kieran about that after. And what else? Team Alberta was in the Brier on Sunday, and they lost to Team Manitoba, who they beat the night before. And Team Alberta had not lost a game in the whole Brier, including against Team Manitoba the night before on Saturday. And maybe curling isn't all about skill. Maybe it's about strategy and skill. I like curling more than the average bear. That's why I mentioned it. And lastly, but not leastly, the Toronto Blue Jays are playing Grapefruit League in Dunedin and parts unknown in Florida. And they have yet to surrender a run since Sunday. Even though guys like Vladdy and our boy from Japan, Yokonobu, or can't remember his name, are off the roster. These guys are winning every time they get out there. So be excited about the Jays, folks. I'm done with sports, Jimmy. You can relax.
Okay, so before we get out of this whole sports thing, I have an issue, and this is an issue that I've dealt with when I've worked in radio with other people, is racing fucking sports. Come on, you're driving a freaking car. Well, living in Edmonton, driving like the yellowhead or white mud is racing. Yeah, we're not going forward. If you bring up racing, I'm tasering you in the nuts. I'll make my own taser. Like I'm 100%. We're not doing the racing thing. If you're bringing up racing on sports, I'm going to start talking about all 7 lightsaber forms every podcast. That's my promise to you. If
Yeah,
we continue with racing in sports, you are going to hate your life because I will demonstrate shit that you will go, oh, wow, he could kill me with a lightsaber. Like, I'm just saying, no more racing going forward. You can talk about football. You can talk about soccer. You could
sure.
talk about,
Yep.
you could talk about ladies. What's it called? Uh, Beach volleyball. I don't give a flying pig's fart. But driving a car is not a sport. Okay, it's driving a freaking car and just fastly. Okay, that's just
You're
that's
like,
just
I'm an expert. I'm talking about driving a car fastly.
exactly. So going forward, like I'll give it to you
Okay.
today. I'll give it to you
Okay.
today. But going forward, if we're talking about F1, unless it's the freaking movie, um, yeah, it's not happening on this podcast.
It's funny
I
that
am
you
the
mentioned that
producer.
though. Like,
I'm the producer. Therefore, I am the ruler of my domain. I can cut shit out.
Jimmy,
I'm just
by
saying.
the way, on your end, can you like, do you come across like squares of bear to you?
What do you mean square is a bear?
Like, you come across like clear as a bell to yourself?
I think
Like on my end, you're
so.
freezing up a little bit.
I don't think I am, but
Okay.
it
Um,
shouldn't.
we'll see in the final product. Like, unless you freeze, we'll stay after it. But Jimmy, I'm in a unique position to comment on your position about F1. Um, like these guys are not like brick walls. They're guys that slide in. Like sometimes it seems like with lube into this like tiny little seat in this engineered car. But it's a competition and isn't all sports competition. A and B, um, and most importantly, I didn't really get into F1 until I watched like Drive to Survive on Netflix. And I'll be the first to admit that like any competition means more to you when you have skin in the game. So it's like you cheer for this guy, you don't cheer for that guy. This guy's an asshole. This guy's family is impoverished or whatever the hell. Like whatever's like remember when I was talking about the Olympics and NBC? Don't do the sleeping thing. The narrative matters. But F1, Drive to Survive on Netflix got me into F1. And it wasn't just like the stories behind the guys or the personalities who were in the game. It was like the amount of training that these guys do, um, like every day to stay on top of the game. Because we're talking about the pinnacle of not just like engineers and developers and people that build these cars, like that is like a 365 like day your job. Like we're talking about the guys that actually get behind the chair to justify the work of all the other people that are like part of the team that developed this or developed that. And like they train because like think about this for a minute. When they get into the car at the beginning of a race and they get out, like they weigh themselves on their way into the car and they weigh themselves on their way out of the car. And so like and it's not just the heat generated by the vehicle, it's their bodies, it's the tight turns, it's like reading the turns. They ride those courses like they do forward practice, um full practice like the day before qualifying on the same course when you're doing these tight turns and you're like trying to like engineer everything. And it's like sometimes we're talking about fractions of a second. And if that means your ability to not just obviously in your brain anticipate a turn, but be able to turn the wheel, it matters. And I was like you before I watched that documentary. So kudos to F1 for creating that documentary to get some jerk off from Edmonton, Alberta, like me, like into your sport. But there's a lot more into it than just two cars racing, and no offense, Jimmy, but so I want to ask to conclude my point, how much weight an average Formula One driver loses during a Grand Prix race? So I'll do that
Can
right now. Hang
can
on.
I answer
How
your
much weight
question?
does a Formula One driver lose during an average Grand Prix race?
Around 4 to 5 kilograms. Yeah, that's about 8 to 11 pounds on a hot, humid day. Most of it's pure sweat. A typical race lasts 90 minutes to 2 hours, and drivers burn through 3 to 4 liters of fluid just keeping cool under that fireproof suit. They start hydrated, chug electrolyte drinks mid-race, but still end up drenched and lighter. Top guys like Max or Lewis, they might drop closer to 6 kilos if it's a scorcher, like Singapore or Bahrain in July. Less if it's cool and dry, say Monza in autumn. Crazy part? They weigh in before and after. FIA checks it. Lose too much? They get flagged for dehydration. Lose too little? Means they weren't pushing hard enough. Brutal balance.
So coming forth on the Bald and Short of It podcast is me breaking down every lightsaber move ever created. If you're going that sports nerd, I'm going that.
So is there a
nerd.
lightsaber league, like a $1 billion
there is.
lightsaber league,
It
like
doesn't
there is
really
with car
matter in my
racing?
world. In my
I'm just
world
telling you
is
that like these kids, like
it
they've been
doesn't
doing
matter
like
to me.
go
It
karts
doesn't
when they
matter
were
if they
kids.
lose 110 pounds driving a car.
Like
Uh,
that commitment to that sport, and I'm gonna say sport, and whether you like it or not, that commitment, it's like it like the dedication, the commitment, the like it's the same as like a hockey kid or like a volleyball kid or like whatever, name your sport. Um and it manifests itself in being like the lead driver. And believe me, if you follow F1, they drop drivers like like a rabbit drop shit. Like it's quick, and either you have it or you don't. And you see these guys training every summer, and you're like, it's not even summer, it's like winter. And they never stop because they know I can get $1 million, multiple $1 million contract, but if I'm not at the top of my game, I I'm out. So if you don't want to call that sports, that's your prerogative. But and again, just so you know, I understand your perspective. But I frankly like feel like because of the commitment and the result and the team that it resembles sports like a mirror, or your definition of sports anyway.
are you done?
No,
Okay.
that's like the best way to like just to marginalize a person. Well played. Do you agree or disagree with me?
To be honest, I don't really care.
All right.
I'm just saying. Like the thing is okay. So the moral of that story is Mooney likes racing. Okay, he drives like a snail backwards in the winter, but he loves racing because he's a pussy. But to get back into this, so let's so that's all your sports. Are you done with your sports?
I'm done. I'm done. Like I added F1 like kind of as a like um something I'm interested in. Like maybe we have like there's a tiny percentage of people like I don't care. Um
You, tiny percentage. Just saying. Okay, so let's get into something a little different and less angry. Um,
I'm not angry. What, are you angry? You got a problem or
no, maybe I am. but not in a bad way, not in a bad way, in a Jimmy way. Um, just how I do things. Um, Let me ask you a question, Mooney. Uh, Yay or nay to Yellowstone? Are you a fan or no?
Yeah. Oh, big time.
The series, not the
Yeah.
park. Kate Marshall's, yes or no?
We haven't started it yet.
Me neither. I want to, but I'm not a guy to start something with just one episode. You have to have at least two or three.
Yeah, we Andrew and I got into the hunting party. And it's like an
Is that a
NBC show.
series?
Yeah.
What's it about?
There's like this I don't want to bore anybody, but like there's this like
You've that boat is already floating.
yeah, there's
Just
like
keep floating
this
it, dude.
this silo of like prison, like where people that society thought were murdered. So like imagine like you get sentenced to death and you get the injection and the families are there and they watch your body shake and then the drapes close and then they take you and put you into another um like a silo deep in the ground and they do experiments on you and try to amend your behavior and try to learn from you and like try to learn from the deviants how to make less deviants or whatever. It's hard to explain, but Graf and I got into it like a couple weeks ago, and then we'd watch an episode. It's on Crave or video on demand on Telus. You don't have that. It's an NBC show, but um, it was really good. But it like we're halfway through season 2, and now we gotta wait a week like all the other dummies. And so that's where I agree with you on Marshall's. There's also another one with Michelle Pfeiffer, uh, Taylor Sheridan series. I think it
What's
might be
that
on
one?
Paramount. I think it might be Paramount too. Hey Grok, what's the latest Taylor Sheridan series starring Michelle Pfeiffer called?
Hang on, checking that real quick.
It's called The Madison.
Let me check that real quick.
I think it's called The Madison.
Yes, I found that. I've never even heard of it.
Yep. And I think it's on Dead now too.
It's came out. It came out March 14th, so it hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, it's not, and it's not. I don't think it's Yellowstone related, but it's Montana related, and like, if you've seen like the sequel to Sicario, or if you've watched Yellowstone, um, or like there was that movie he did. I mean, he's done a couple. Taylor Sheridan, and actually, if you watched that biker show.
Like not the one. The biker gang with Ron Perlman.
Yeah. What that was called? Oh, now again with the.
I actually was a fan of that
What's
show.
the name of the biker gang show with Ron Perlman?
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy.
Yes, he did that one.
No, he acted in it.
No, but Taylor Sheridan did that one.
Yeah, he was a sheriff in it. He acted in it.
Oh, okay.
Like all he did was act in it, and then he's like he wanted more money because his character became more prominent, and they're like fuck you, and he's like, you know what, like I know how to write a show, and then he did Yellowstone, and Yellowstone was great, but I'm telling you, like in terms of writing, if you're ever gonna like appreciate his writing, which is good in my opinion on all fronts, um, you would watch 1883, which I know you have, like with your mom.
I've seen 1883. I saw 19. Was it 23 or what?
23, yeah. I still keep my fingers crossed for like a 1940 yacht You know, like there was rumors about a Matthew McConaughey led thing. I don't know, but like if you watch 1883 and like the girl that does the narrative and talks about how hard life was, like that
Yeah,
was
she was the main she was the one that died at the end of it.
yeah. Well, oh great, spoiler alert.
She was I didn't watch all of 1883 cuz my mom had just finished watching most of it, so she got me. I watched the last episode and then we watched the
Well, go back home and like start it from the start. It's really a good western. Like a western doesn't involve like banditos getting murdered by a, you know, or getting like neutralized by a Clint Eastwood or like
yeah,
westerns have
all westerns don't have Clint Eastwood.
yeah
Go ahead,
like
make my day.
I can't I don't
Do you
want to
feel lucky, punk?
I don't want to stray too far away from where we're at because we're talking about Taylor Sheridan. Bookmark that. But if you've ever seen Deadwood, which is arguably like the Sopranos of westerns on like cable TV, um, the way that now I can't remember his name, like the guy that was the lead actor in Deadwood, the way that he walked, he totally stole that from Clint Eastwood. So if you watch Clint Eastwood walk in like any of his movies, Outlaw Josie Wales, like High Plains Drifter, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, like he walks like there's a swagger, but like if you're an actor, you'd be able to characterize that. But
Are you talking about Timothy Oliphant?
yes, 100%. Like if you watch the way that man walks in Deadwood, and then just like for fun, watch like any Clint movie where he walks. It's literally the exact same.
On a slightly different note, Timothy Oliphant was also in Mandalorian season 2 as the Marshal.
Well, that sounds like a perfect pivot. What do you have to tell us about nerditry?
Nerditry is no word. You and your words. What do you have in nerditry today?
You got any nerditry for us this week, Jimmy?
I do, because remember last week, like last podcast, you talked about one of your favorite characters, or the unsung sung heroes, Wedge Antilles.
Okay, stop right there. I love Wedge because
He was a side character that kind of
no, like yeah, okay, like philosophically though, Wedge is every man. It's like he's like, oh wow, I can't believe shit just got real, but I got your back, and I'll do whatever I can to support you. Like Wedge is all of us, and that's where I said like if Star Wars was gonna
maybe
like
you.
Okay,
I'm
well,
Luke Skywalker.
no, okay, yeah, that's you have delusions of grandeur. It sounds a little bit, like psychotic, but whatever. You do you, Jimmy. My point being is that like Wedge is me, Wedge is you. Like he's like, oh wow, holy cow, we're in this. I got your back, brother. I'm not sure I belong here, but I'm going to default to my values. And I'm like, last week I said if they were going to do another, maybe Disney Plus thing, they should do a Wedge thing because Wedge is like every man.
See, the thing is though, is in order to catch on to someone like Wedge, he actually predates Luke Skywalker.
100%.
In the character, if you watched things like the Clone Wars or maybe
I
not
don't.
Clone
I don't
Wars,
watch
but
cartoons.
Rebels,
I'm an adult.
but Rebels. If you're a nerd, you do. If you're someone who pretends that they like stuff and just is a half-asser like you,
I'm
that's
not
something
pretending.
totally different.
I'm not part of that nerditry class. Like I'm not pretending anything. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
we got to write down all the tree terms.
Well,
So you
put a clip.
We got
put a clip in.
nerditry, we got midgetry, we got
Put a clip in. I don't care. I'm just saying, like as a as a kid that grew up with Star Wars but didn't let it consume my life, but still loves it, and became a fan of Mandalorian after being convinced by one of my fellow kids that grew up with Star Wars, blah blah blah. I'm like, if Disney as a business, as a guy with an MBA, Disney as a business, if they're going to do another series, they should do a series about Wedge. All I'm
They
saying.
have recently started a comic book series actually that involves Wedge, because I don't know if you know this or not, but actually in the Rise of Skywalker, the last of the nine original movies,
Yeah, yeah,
he was the gunner in the Millennium Falcon, uh, that was flown by Lando.
yeah. Like I didn't even know that because like I watched those movies once and thought they sucked. I didn't even like fucking write down names like guys like you do. But I'm telling you, if like
I wasn't a fan of the newest threequel or whatever you call it.
here's a question: like who like could Wedge possibly be the most enduring character? Well, like he obviously practically he is. He was in like right, like obviously he wasn't in Tatooine with young Luke in the prequel bullshit movies.
He okay.
When did
Actually,
actually? Let me ask you: when did Wedge first appear? Nerd.
it, he outside of during Rebels, he showed up in episode 4, which is A New Hope.
Yeah.
But actually,
So that's when we got introduced to
but
Wedge.
the longest standing characters in Star Wars history are the droids, which is 3PO and R2D2.
So you're like arguing. It's
But
like
just wait, and
okay.
Chewbacca. Chewbacca actually saved Yoda during the Revenge of the Sith. Just saying,
All right.
you started
So
this.
that book I was reading that I mentioned earlier in the podcast. There's a guy that made a motion, um, like the defense about the AI, and it's like it was free speech, and the judge ruled like we can't grant speech to bots, the same speech to bots that we grant to, like humans, right? So the droid argument falls, like just basically on like also a literary ruling.
Wow.
But droids can last forever. Like they don't have blood, heartbeats, degradation of cells, blah blah blah. So don't even talk about that. The most enduring human
but you're
character.
part. But you're
Hang
part
on,
of the
you almost made
podcast,
my
and you
point.
don't have a heart. But
Oh,
just
really?
saying.
The way you
Just
come
saying.
after me, and the way I
I
take
know
it.
it's like you're numb from the head down. But I digress. So you know what? I say we're gonna hit two more things before we're done. We talked about
Hang
Star
on a
Wars. We
minute.
talked
I,
about
I
your
I feel
sports.
like this is
No,
unresolved. I say if Disney and whatever, like whatever conglomerate wants to, like, um, like do a whole series and whatever, and build a movie like they did with the Mandalorian, they should do Wedge. Yes or no, Jimmy?
I'd be okay with that.
Like fuck, I'll write it. Like humble beginnings. The guy that like he's like he's like
You
he's
could
like
write a
the
eulogy.
he's like the Star Wars Steve McQueen in Magnificent Seven. Wedge is the Star Wars Steve McQueen in Magnificent Seven. It's like whatever you want, boss. Or like Brad Pitt in Ocean's 11. It's like I
or,
got your back. I'm your lieutenant. Like I got you covered. And guess
or
what?
like
Like
Jimmy on the Bald and Short of It podcast. I'm just secondary character. Um, it's all your
well,
opinion on
as long as
everything
you
all the
understand
time.
that, as long as you get
It's
it.
the only opinion is yours because you talk the most. Um,
Yeah, difference is like nobody told Wedge what he had to do. He just did it because he was a good guy. Meanwhile, you're
okay.
bitching and whining. Okay, moving on.
Moving on. Okay, so before we get leave said podcast, okay, so you sent me this, and this is the first I've heard of it. Uh, Tabor announces celebrities for street hockey tournament taking place after the arena blew up. For those who don't know, I'm originally from Tabor, Alberta. I lived there for
I don't know.
probably the first half of my life ish. But they're saying that former NHLers are actually going to be doing a fundraiser, street hockey in Tabor after our arena blew up. And so there's going to be some women's hockey, like former Olympic medalists. There's going to be people like Rich Sutter, Tim Hunter,
Yeah,
Chris
Tim
Joseph,
Hunter's like kind of
Kelly
organized.
Buchberger.
Yeah,
So many actually cool names. Actually, you know who I would like to see there, and because when I was a kid, that would actually be cool if he didn't even
Lanny.
play, if he just showed up.
Lanny.
Is
He's
old
from Hannah.
Lanny. Is
Lanny from
Lanny.
Hannah. Lanny from Hannah.
Lanny frickin' McDonald. I've met him a couple of times when I was with the basketball
He's from
team.
Hannah.
Yeah, he's Southern Alberta, baby. And
I gotta tell you, like,
Mr. Mustache. Like,
yeah.
I love that guy.
I put that article out there because I thought you might tell me about the arena that blew up. Like, you're from Tabor.
They say it had something to do with the Zamboni or something. Like this was about a year ago, like a year or so ago. But yeah, so they're doing a street hockey festival and
No,
tournament.
trying to raise money to rebuild.
Yeah, they're doing it in Tabor, March 17th and 28th. Or sorry, 27th and 28th. Sort of like 17th, but different. If I could, I would go there. Like,
Well, like last episode, you were talking about Edmonton media personality James White.
and but the funny thing is I'm more well known here now than I am. Like when I go to Tabor now, like when I grew up there, I was as far from anonymous as anyone could be. I went to the bar on my 18th birthday, and people phoned my fucking mother. Hey, do you realize he's drinking? Yeah,
Well, that's
he's 18.
That's different. That's like Irish squinting windows. Everyone wanting to know everyone's business.
But now I go there and I'm like, no one recognizes me because. But that's not the point. The point is that's actually really cool that they're doing a street hockey tournament in Tabor.
When is it?
It's the 27th and 28th of March.
I think it would be cool if we did a podcast there, except that my mom's going to Vegas, and I'm gonna keep an eye on my pop, so I can't go. Shit.
Yeah,
I'd have gone. I'll fucking drive you.
But it would have been cool. But even like I know people there, we can actually phone someone.
But I put it up there. I put it up there though because I didn't even know about the one that blew up. Like you don't know about that.
I've
been talking to your
when it happened, people like from here were going, "Do you know what happened?" And I'm like, I had to phone my mom, and she goes, "Yes," or my sister, "Yeah, it blew up." It was a thing.
That was really like they didn't go like Johnny was mad and he.
They supposedly like as far as I know, there was no. It was. I don't know if you call it natural causes, but it was just it wasn't like arson or anything like that.
Yeah, like I'm not a conspiracy theorist. It's like as long as there was an investigation and they go, oh no,
it had something to do with the connection to the Zamboni or something.
Yeah.
But you know what? I say we're gonna end the podcast soon. Before we do,
hang on though. So, like, before we, like you're eager to like. Believe me, I don't want to talk to you either. Like, we're circling the toilet bowl. We said it from the jump. Am I happy to be here? Probably not. Loathing and hatred.
Okay, can you get to your point?
Mark that down. Um, a Zamboni, quote unquote, blows up in Tabor. And then we were talking last episode about, like trouble up north. James White, and then that guy morphs and you're like a chameleon. Now you're a media personality.
Really,
Like
we're
I
going
think
here.
like maybe I'm watching Hunting Party too much, but there might be a pattern. Should I be
Okay.
telling my kids to stay with their grandparents? Of course, if I did and I told you, maybe they're at risk.
Why do you drink? I don't know. So this was the Bald and Short of It podcast. I am James P. White. That's Chris Mooney. But before we end the podcast, quit your, because I'm going to cut you off. So stop talking. So St. Patrick's Day is a week from this coming Wednesday. And Patty the Leprechaun is making multiple visits to locations throughout the city of Edmonton. If you don't know who Patty the Leprechaun is, that is yours truly, James P. White, also called Jimmy, also called Patty the frickin' Leprechaun. I'm also called many other things, also hater of Moonies. But so I'm actually starting on St. Patrick's Day, which is Tuesday, the 17th of March. I will be at the Kelly's Pub probably by around 1:30 on the Wednesday, and I'm going to be at multiple brew houses. So at the downtown brew house, I'm going to be there by about around 4:15 to 4:45. Each location, I'm going to be there for about half an hour. At the Ice House and Banquet, I will be from 5 p.m. till 6. Again, times might change slightly. Ellerslie Brew House, 6:30 to 7. Windermere, 7 to 7:55 or 7:20 to 7:55. And as they progress, I will be at the brew houses at the North End Brew House at 10 till 10:35, and Kelly's Pub. I end the day from about 11 till they either kick me out or pour me out with a glass. It doesn't matter. But yes, if you want to see Patty the Leprechaun with my beautiful red hair and my leprechaun outfit, I will be there. I will post this stuff on social media as we get closer. But this was the Bald and Short of It podcast. I am James P. White, also called Patty the Leprechaun. That is Chris Mooney, also called the asshole of the podcast. And we circle the drain of loathing and hatred. That is the theme of this podcast.
Love you, kid. I love you. I love you so much.
If you didn't
I
catch
can't
on
wait
to the
to I
loathing
can't
and
wait to
hatred,
meet you like downtown at 4:00 on March 17th.
Schedule may change, especially for you. But yes, this was the Bald and Short of It podcast. I am James P. White. That is asshole Mooney, and see you next time.